Hi guys, welcome to my podcast. My name is Nicole and I am the brains and the beauty behind Yarncraft by Nicole. And I have so many delightful things to show you today. It's super gray and rainy outside, and after this podcast I'm going to curl up in my giant temperature blanket and just crochet into the evening. It's going to be great. Also, do y'all like my mug? This was a gift from someone, a family friend of ours, and it's just full of Michigan things. It's delightful. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna get started with the featured make this week because it is so dreary and cold and gray today. I was like, I just want to snuggle up in a blanket, and this shawl feels like snuggling up in a blanket. So this is the Bronwyn shawl from TL Yarncrafts. Y'all are getting 2 TL Yarncraft patterns back to back in these weeks. And this is actually the first shawl, the first shawl that I ever made for myself, and the first TL Yarncraft pattern that I found. And I absolutely love it. I believe that this is free on her blog. I can double check. But it's got some pretty eyelet details right here. It's got kind of this alpine stitch down here, and I love it. I used 2 skeins of Juniper Moon Farms. I think it's just Harriet is the yarn that I used. And I've got this green color and the blue color, and then this is the Berocco Millefiore, I think is what it's called, and it blends in really well together. Now, since this was my first shawl that I ever crocheted and one of the first patterns really that I ever used, some of the things are not as neat on this as I would make them today. Like specifically all the color changes, my ends are just kind of a little crazy. However, every time I wear it, it makes me feel warm and snuggly, and you can't really even see those ends when I'm wearing it. But this is one that I might make another one of sometime because I really enjoyed this pattern. It's the Bronwyn shawl. Last week and this week I had 4-day work weeks, which were awesome. So I got a lot of crocheting done, and you should see some more content coming out from me more often now. My job is about to change from being a long-term sub, so more like filling in for someone, doing the day-to-day work that normal full-time teachers do, to just kind of handling day-to-day stuff. So I'm excited about that. That will give me more time and will help us get ready for our next move, which is great. But I say all that to say, during the 4-day weeks, I crocheted a lot and it was wonderful. So the first thing I'm going to show you for finished makes is what I showed you that was on my hook last week. Look at it. This is the honeycomb stitch. I was about to give you a pattern name, but there is no pattern name. I made a table runner with Jewelspun, so it's about this long. It's kind of a short table runner. I used 1 skein of it, but it's a 200-gram cake basically. So all of these beautiful colors were in that 1 cake, and it's Jewelspun by Sirdar. And so I did a Tunisian table runner, and then on the ends I did 1 row of single crochet and then 1 row of reverse single crochet, which is one of my favorite borders. You'll see that again, some of the other stuff I did. And once I finished that, I had enough left over that I made a couple of coasters. And these are all just Tunisian simple stitch. So you might be able to tell that the texture on this is different than the texture on this. But I thought they were really cute. And these are just for me. One day I might write this up for a blog or something like that. That's one of my goals this year, is to start a blog. Again, once I have more time at home. And I think this would be a nice, simple, step-by-step written pattern to do on a blog. So honeycomb table runner and then simple stitch coasters. Again, these are also just a single crochet border and a reverse single crochet edging. So these are my first 2, and they look really cute on our table. If you aren't following me on Instagram, go follow me on Instagram, Yarncraft by Nicole. And I have a picture of a couple of the ways that I had it set up, or the way that I had it set up. One thing I did not show y'all last week, and I'm so sad that I didn't, when I was showing you all the things that I made over winter break, is these cute little fingerless mitts. I don't know what the right way to show it to you is. They're perfect. It's more Tunisian, since apparently I'm on a Tunisian kick. I can show you how they fit. This is another Tony pattern from TL Yarncrafts. I mean, look, I'm so cool. This is in her Tunisian crochet handbook, and I've never made fingerless mitts before, but I've always really liked the look of them, and I just didn't see a pattern that made me want to try it, basically. And I made these in the car. I made these, and these were honestly fine before I blocked them. I did block them once I got home, but I made these in the car, and that's pretty cool. They have a little bit of increases on the edges, and then you do this cool thumb detail, and I love them. The pattern calls for Aran weight, which is a little bit thicker than worsted, and that's Aran, A-R-A-N. But I kind of modified the pattern to use some DK weight yarn because I knew that this yarn would look gorgeous in these gloves, and so I just added a couple of rows here because I was using a skinnier yarn and made a few modifications. But I have some chunky yarn that I think would make really cool gloves too, and so I think I'm going to modify it again, maybe, and maybe put some of those in my Etsy shop. But these are really cute, and they don't require a ton of yardage. So, and they're called the Lexington Cashmere Gloves. So these are awesome. I had made these before last week, but I forgot to show them to you. They're too cute. I might do these for my Friday fit tomorrow because I have a good idea for how to show those off. The other thing that I finished was this beautiful thing. And this is the Tunisian two-tone cowl. I will be releasing a tutorial for this, hopefully sometime next week. I've done all the filming for it. I just need to splice it all together and make the video. But I really like this. In fact, I'll show you kind of what it looks like on. It's the same stitch all the way down, and the top and the bottom have the same kind of border, but you just add some stitches along the bottom and you don't add them on the top, so it helps it kind of flow out a little bit. And what I really like about this cowl, besides the fact it's easy and quick, is that when you wear it, you can see stripes on the inside and the outside looks like houndstooth, and it's kind of cool. I mean, honestly, you could wear it inside out and it would still be very cute. So I'm going to be releasing a pattern or a tutorial video for this soon, and I will let y'all know here when I do. But if you subscribe to my channel, then you'll get notifications anytime I post something like this. But I really like this, and like I said, it was quick, and it only needs a skein of each color. So I use Lion Brand's Woolies for both of these colors, and I bought 2 skeins of the cranberry because I thought that I would need more of this color. But 1, I kind of changed the way I did the border, and 2, I just didn't need as much yarn as I thought I did. So you only need 1 skein of each, so it's a cost-effective project, it's a quick project, and it's an easy wear project. So I'm here for it. I'm happy about it. That is the Tunisian two-tone cowl that will be out hopefully sometime next week. Let me throw this lovely thing back on. I'm gonna hold it out so you can kind of see all of the detail and all of the sparkles. I like this a lot. I made this when I was working in a yarn store, which was heaven, because then anytime I saw a pattern, I could just shop where I worked, or I would shop where I work and then figure out a pattern. Wonderful. So those are all the things that I have finished. And now I'm going to show you the things that I'm working on, and y'all are not ready. Y'all just aren't ready for how cute those things are. Let's see, where do I even want to start? I guess I'll start with a pattern test. So last week I showed you some yarn that I wanted to use in a pattern test. Wasn't sure if they would need me for this pattern test. Most of the time when someone is doing a pattern test, so a designer has designed something and they want people to try it and make sure that their math is right, make sure that it's clear and understandable, and to boost awareness of the pattern so that when they post it, they can show it in a bunch of different colors. And I do a lot of pattern testing. I got into it a lot last year, and the way that I've done it has all been through Instagram, which is nice. So anytime there's a designer that I like, I make sure that I follow them, and if they release a pattern, there's usually an application that you go in and fill out. And a lot of times pattern testers want people who have varying levels of crochet experience. So you might be saying, well, that sounds pretty cool and I would like to learn more things, but I really don't know how to crochet that well, or maybe I'm kind of new to it. A lot of times designers are looking for people with different levels. So you don't have to be super, super experienced to necessarily pattern test, especially if the designer is trying to come up with something that is beginner friendly. So I say all that to say, I did get picked for the pattern test after I applied, which was awesome because I haven't tested for this pattern tester before. I'm sorry, I haven't tested for this designer before, but I really like her work, Classic City Crochet. And I was very happy that she chose me because she had a lot of applicants. So I was very pleased that happened. So this is the, I believe I'm saying this right, Cartecay Shawl. And this pattern isn't available yet because people are still testing it. But look at it. Oh, it's so pretty. So I'm gonna hold it up so you can kind of see. It's got these really pretty, she's calling these berry stitches that give it a little bit of texture, and then eyelets, and it's just so fun. And the pattern repeat is simple. So I think it's either a 5 or 6 row pattern repeat, and that's what these wonderful stitch markers are on the end, so I can see how many I've done. But it's a very simple, like, watch TV and crochet project, which I love. And I had 2 skeins of Hue Made yarn, which are what are in it so far. So I've got to finish this blue, and then I'm going to end, well, then I'm going to go to this kind of acidy green. The problem that I did, which is a rookie mistake, and honestly, I have tested too much for this to have been a mistake, but I got so excited that I could use stash yarn, things that I already had in my stash and that I didn't have to buy yarn, and I was trying not to buy yarn in January, that I was like, cool, I have the amount of skeins needed. I have 3 skeins. I'm set. What I didn't do is double check the yardage, because every, well, not every, but a lot of, especially hand dyed yarn, even if it's all 100 grams, depending on how skinny or thick that particular DK weight yarn is, means that you might have more yards or less yards. The amount of yarn, the mass of the yarn doesn't change because it's still 100 grams, it still weighs the same amount, but how many actual yards you get can vary depending on how thick or thin it is kind of within that yarn weight. So I am probably going to be short some yarn. So I'm still going to go, I think, I haven't quite decided. I'm going to go through all of the blue, and then depending on how short I am, I might get some dark navy and then use this to just make sure that I have enough so that I can wear it, because it's going to be very pretty. I love these colors together. Honestly, this color I need to just buy a sweater's quantity of. It's called Monet's Garden, and it's absolutely stunning. I love it. The other thing I didn't show you last week are these stitch markers, because they came in, I think, the day that I filmed. Look at that guy. It's a little mountain and a nightscape. And then these are all other kind of coordinating wood stitch markers. These are from Tinker's Holler, who I think I was in a pattern testing group with her, and she makes wooden stitch markers, and she's awesome. And I have never bought from her until this, and they're perfect. And what I love about the wooden ones is that they are crazy lightweight. And she also uses these clasps that you might see on earrings. I'll kind of hold it up so you can see it, which is perfect for knitters or crocheters. If it's just a circle ring like this, then, and it doesn't have a clasp on it, it's good for knitters because it moves as you go. If it doesn't have, or if it does have a clasp, it's great for crocheters. So sometimes you might see the lobster clasps that are on necklaces, but I really liked these. I thought they were a good mix of both. Honestly, before I had ever seen stitch markers that had a clasp, I thought they were only for knitters. Like, I didn't think that there was a way to use them if you crocheted. So I am very thankful for people who make stitch markers for crocheters, and they're awesome. They're great. They're lightweight and wooden, and they all coordinate, and they're beautiful. Like, it's a little piece of art. So these are awesome. I'll make sure that I mention her. in the description below. So this is my Cartecay Shawl from Classic City Crochet. I think this pattern comes out in February or March, but I'll let you know for sure when it does. So that's one project, which I love. The next project took over my life this week. Not really, but it took over my life at home. Originally, I was not going to buy any yarn in January, and I've been pretty good, even though yarn dyers are coming out with some amazing things, and it's been very hard to say no, but I've been good. However, I remembered that we have a friend of ours who is expecting a little girl in March, and I hadn't started her baby blanket. It's like, probably shouldn't wait until February to start that. So I went to Joann and I picked up some yarn that I needed. But first I sketched out, or no, I picked up the yarn that I needed first because I knew I wanted to do something Disney themed for her. So she and her husband are big Disney fans, so are me and my husband. So I sketched out on graph paper. It'll be very hard to see, especially because it's so great today. The lighting is not good in here. A Minnie Mouse on graph paper. Anytime that I have done color work that I've made up, it's always been on graph paper. It's about as low tech as you can get, but it's been effective for me. So I bought the two colors that I needed. I already had black in my stash and I already had red in my stash, but I didn't have white and I didn't have pink. So I bought just what I needed at Joann's, which felt nice, even though it felt a little bit like I was cheating on the yarn fast. But it felt nice to just buy what I needed and not get distracted by anything else, even though, of course, they had lots of fun things that were on sale. And once I started it, I did it from the bottom up, so the bottom of Minnie's face to the top, knowing that the bow was going to be the trickiest part, and I just could not stop. I started this on Monday, and I will finish it today, and today is Thursday, which is ridiculous, but it's so cute. I couldn't stop. Are you ready? You're not, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. Look at it. It's Minnie. It's perfect. Okay, it's not perfect because actually somehow, even with the math that I did on the graph paper, one ear is slightly larger than the other. Don't know how I managed that, but it's not really noticeable to anyone but me. And I was able to fix it once I got to the top of the ear. But I love this. I love the way that it looks. I love the fact that I did it so it's the same on the front and the back. I love the fact that I wove in my ends as I went so it feels complete as I'm going along. I love the fact that all of the crazy yarn that was going everywhere is now not, which is why once I got going on this, especially when I got into the bow, it was hard to put it down because it was such a mess. And it's like, if I could just power through this, and it's not that much of it, that's the bow, but it was very tangly when it was. So I love this. I'm doing my favorite border. So single crochet and a reverse single crochet edging simply in the white. And I love it. I used Big Twist for the white, which is Joann's house brand. And then I used Line Brand's Heartland for the pink, which I've used before and I really liked. It's soft. It's almost got a heather to it. And when I was going through the pinks, I'm just gonna give y'all a minute to appreciate how cute that is. When I was going through the pinks, there were some that were just kind of a little bit too baby pink. And this I felt gave it a little bit of a vintage vibe. So I love this and I'll finish it today. And then I'll either block it, I'll either steam block it or I'll throw it in the washing machine because it's all acrylic. And then I will pack it up and send it off. This has been a fun project. Now, going from this to a finished blanket, not to do my own horn just astounds me. To have an idea in my head that I can then put on paper, then I can make physically. Like, it's mind-boggling to me, and I absolutely love it. This was a lot of fun. I know that there are programs that can help me do color work, things like that. If I ever wanted to write a pattern that did have color work in it. I think Stitch Fiddle is one of the ones that people use. So maybe one day I'll get into that, but this has been so much fun and it's just so cute and it's big. It's a big baby blanket. Whenever I make baby blankets for people, I always make it out of acrylic yarn or an acrylic blend that you can throw in the washing machine, or cotton. I've done cotton ones too. Because if it's gonna go to a baby, it's gonna get messy. You wanna be able to throw it in the washing machine. And then I also try to take into consideration, how are they gonna use it? Would they want something that's more oversized? Are they getting a lot of things that are already oversized? If it's somebody that I have not made a baby blanket before, if it's their first, I usually go a little bit bigger, especially with something like this, because I wanted to make sure that everything was large enough to be able to be read. Like when you saw it, that it would make sense instead of it being very small. I also try not to do anything that would easily come apart, which is why I usually throw them in the washing machine before I hand it off to anybody to make sure that it'll survive. And if it does have any knots or anything that come loose, then I can fix it before I hand it to them. So I love this. I'm so proud of it. Like, I kind of now want to make cardigans for me and my husband with the same pattern, which I think he would wear. Well, it's not a bad idea. Could happen. We'll see what happens when I have more time. Those are all the things that I am currently, well, this is really the only thing that I'm currently working on, and the shawl, but I do want to show you one more thing that I'm about to start on. Oh yeah, here's the Heartland skein. So super sweet, super soft. This is called Capital Reef, is the name of this color, and I love it. I think it was great. This is one I'm very excited about. This is Nomad Stitch's, aka Sandra Gutierrez's colorful crochet knitwear book that I bought last year, and I haven't made anything out of it yet. But one of the things that I wanted to try was mosaic crochet. And if I'm understanding correctly, because I've never done it, mosaic crochet usually has 2 colors at a time that you use, and then you have one over the other at some points. So the back looks a little different than the front. So saying all that, when I got the mini skeins for my birthday, that's just one of them, how cute is that? That were the December flower colorway that my husband got for me, which was awesome. I knew that I wanted to make a sweater with them, and I thought that I would kind of just make one up as I went. But then, again, I'm trying not to buy yarn in January. I went through and said, okay, what do I have? What can I play with? Oh, I have that mini set. I could start a sweater. Let me see if there's one already out there that I want that would still show off the yarn really well. So I flipped through this book, and guys, that's what I'm gonna make with it. I like this because it has a lot of cool detail, and this one's called the Lagom Pullover, and I think that I'm pronouncing that correctly. It's a Swedish word that refers to something that is just the right amount. In Sweden, it represents the idea of living a balanced life. I love Nomad Stitch's names for her garments because usually they're tied into language in some way, which I love. So for this, even though I don't have the correct yardage for all of the colors as they're listed, my thinking is that I'll just use one color until I run out, and then I'll just move on to the next section. We'll see how well that works. That might not work as well as I think it will. And then what I really like about this whole idea is that when I was winding all of these mini skeins, and there are 10 of them, and they're each 80 yards. So I have 800 yards already right here to work with. One, they came with the cutest little merch, the Flora collection. And 2, they tell you what colors that they keep in stock all year round that go with the colors that you just bought. Mind-boggling. Because I was going through thinking, okay, I know that this, I don't know. I think this will be enough to get me through the top. What am I going to pair this with? Because I only have these skeins here, and these are from Hugh Loco, and she sells privately. It's not like in stores or things like that. And this is a collection. So like I bought this one thing, and now how do I pair that with something else if I know I want to make a garment? and she tells you on the card what they keep in stock on their website that goes with what you just bought. Perfect. Because I was planning on reaching out and just saying, hey, I bought this. What do you suggest that goes with it? And she's already done that work. Perfect. And I think that I'm just going to start and end the sweater with this color, which is Snowshoe. I mean, it's just, it almost looks like a bare yarn. One, because I don't have anything that's that color, and I think it will look lovely against my skin. But two, that with all the other colors in the sweater can just be shown off. And after I wound all the mini skeins, I took a picture of them in the order that they were in the package because I really liked that order, so I can remember how to do them. But all the ones in the package go from a solid to a variegated. So I'm pretty pumped about that. And I just bought a hook that is somewhere over here, theoretically, to make this with. It calls for a G hook, which I have like a metal G hook. I really thought I had put it over here right before I started. Oh well. That I have a metal hook, which is fine, but I knew that something that was going to take me this long, I would want an ergonomic hook, a furls hook that has like the middle part that goes out. In fact, a hook like this, not this one, this one's a little bit big, but this is the one I'm using for the baby blanket. And I had one like this, honestly, that was acrylic that I sat on and it broke. So I bought a new one that's wood and it's super, super lightweight, and that came in yesterday. So I can now start on this sweater this week. So pretty pumped about that. That way I can have the sweater project and the shawl project going at the same time, because I'm gonna finish that blanket today. So with all of that said, that's all I've got for you this week. So I'm gonna leave you with what I can't let go. And what I can't let go of deals with this wonderful coffee mug that's in front of me, is I can't let go of the fact that milk frothers are game changers if you like lattes. We were staying with friends, in fact, the friends that got us this mug actually, over the holidays, and the wife had just gotten her husband a milk frother for Christmas, and he, hey, do you want a latte? Yeah, sure, I'm not gonna turn down caffeine. And so he made one. I was like, that is awesome. He said, I think it was pretty inexpensive, and it wasn't something I knew I needed, but now it's like, how did I live without it? And we found one on Amazon. I think it was about 40 bucks, and it's great. I've used it. I think I've used it every day since we've gotten it, and it's wonderful. So if you like lattes and you need a treat yourself experience, check those out, because there's a ton of them out there. And the one that he had was not the kind, it wasn't an immersion one where you have to put like the steel part in the liquid. This one, it's a pitcher, so you just pour the amount that you need in there. I either pour in a little bit of creamer and some milk, or I have some vanilla syrup to mix in with drinks, and then I've done that in milk, and that with this chai latte is primo. I hope that you have a wonderful week ahead of you. And oh, if you liked the Friday Fit short that I posted, let me know in the comments below, because that's something I've been doing on Instagram, but I haven't been doing on YouTube. So if you like that, let me know in the comments below. Or if there's anything else that you want to see from me on this channel, let me know in the comments below. And I'll see you here next time. Bye, guys.